morning, everyone. How you guys doing? You guys got your coffee? Does the dog have water? When was the last time you took your dog out? We have 1 or 2 minutes to do it. Like, rush, because we're starting with our Q&A today, talking about dogs, relationships, trauma, holistic husbandry, and anything you guys worried about your dog and want to know. So, hi everyone. I'm Roman with Holistic Dog Training, and I'm here in Eugene, where you have your coffee or tea from. Hi, Robert. How are you doing? So, what's going on with you guys? What are your goals for next week? What are you struggling with your dog? From Ohio, Jesus. Hello, Ohio. Hi, Kelly. Oh, yeah, right. You know what? There's always a good time to have a coffee. There's always a good time to have coffee with your dog, right? Right, Mugsy? He's like, I'm busy chewing. So, what is something that bothers you? And we can talk anything except politics, except religion, except my shoe size and my socks. Just kidding. But I'm open for discussion. And I know some of you are struggling with things, but we don't have to talk about struggles. We can talk about proactive stuff that we can work on. Like, how do I prepare my dog going to the vet, right? So, here you go. Somebody who had coffee already. I have a 7-year-old Pyrenees mix who is out with me having coffee on a patio. She just lost her brother. Oh man, I'm so sorry. That sucks. You know what? Losing a dog sucks 7 times more. I can't even compare it. Okay. Yeah, I'm sorry. And you know what? When people go through trauma, dogs go through trauma too. So our response to emotions and to events that happen in our environment do affect our dogs too. So they're kind of like picking up on the stuff. Um, for some magic reason, dogs want to feel in alignment with the family. So, and since dogs don't have the logic we expect to have, they have a kind of like a understanding of some things, but they don't have the logic. Like if I say, for example, in my back pocket, I usually have my wallet and my phone. Okay, I usually have my wallet and my phone, and I ask you now, what do you think is in my back pocket? How many of you will say your wallet? Well, that's logic. Okay, that is comparing things to each other, even if you don't have physical confirmation about it. And I think this is how you can see things. Well, I'm not wearing my jeans today, and I don't have any pockets. No, I'm not in my underwear. I'm just having my jogging pants, and I don't have pockets in there. However, you have to see, dogs are emotionally intelligent, and it's very important for you to recognize that if dogs are emotionally intelligent, they're empathetic, so they feel how you feel because you feel it, and they just empathize with it. Now, do they know why you feel this way? No, but they're curious to find out what it is. Okay, so if you're depressed, your dog will likely eat less. If you're depressed, the dog will likely hang out with you more. So the dogs feel these things. And then one thing that you're looking for is, what if you're angry? What if you're frustrated? What if you're upset? What if you're scared? And then you open that door for this pizza guy, poor guy. And he has to face the consequences of your dogs tapping into your fear and then open the door. Obviously, that must be the reason, right? And I know people who struggling with, you know, um, theoretical stuff like, finances and, mortgage, which doesn't have really a physical body. And this anxiousness and fear is basically emitting to the environment. So dogs tapping into that environmental factors and then sponging it. And so we have to be very clear how we we manage our emotions, just like we do with kids. Does your kids need to know that your boss is a jerk? No. Do you have to bring it home from work? No. So we have these emotional boundaries. And so these emotional boundaries are being set clearly. That would definitely help your dog. So, yeah, this with dogs. Um, Kelly, I'm working on noises next week. New washer and dryer noise, new bed coming. Yeah. So dogs are really weird about it, about new things. So we think territorial behavior stems from dominance. Are you dominant locking your car? Are you dominant asking your partner, "Hey, honey, what's in your bag? What do you have for coffee? What do you have for breakfast?" So being curious is one thing. Being scared of intrusion is another thing. Um, and we need to see those behaviors that are usually classified as dominant are usually fear-based. So why do dogs mark on new furniture, which you likely will have to deal with at some point? Why is the dog peeing on the new box in your office, or on the new carpet or on the bed? Because the dog considered that as intrusion. It's new. It wasn't here before. There's something. Somebody else came in here, and that comes with it. And so the dog is does. He's marking it as checked. You have seen those parked cars on the side of the highway with these red stickers on it. It kind of like a cop marked it. Okay, so everybody knows that this car is checked and it's okay to be there. So, and then what you do is you try to clean it up. And then the dog comes in and says, "Huh, that's new. That wasn't here before. And here we go." And pee on it again. And it doesn't have to be because the dog is not nurtured. Even nurtured dogs, even elderly dogs will mark it, right? And it's not only males, so females mark too. So if the dog doesn't feel safe in his house, doesn't mean because of you. It could be a trauma, a prenatal trauma coming in from breeding practices. All these things come in as a package when you get a dog. Sometimes the dog can feel so insecure on his environment that he will everything that is new get upset about it, and then that will cause certain things to happen. Now, how do you prevent that? I would say make it part of an educational visit. Hey, outside, let me show you our new furniture. Take some treats. Of course, take a blanket, put it on top of it. Mhm. This one is part of our new thing. Let the dog smell it, then redirect your dog, ask him to sit, give him another treat, making that a good experience. Okay. Now, if you replace one furniture with another, that usually is not a big deal, but adding a new furniture into the house that wasn't here before, like for example, a recliner in addition to your existing furniture, and that is kind of like a new thing, right? I would definitely make sure you cover it with a blanket that kind of like is your dog's blanket, so he sees that, oh, I know this crap. It's been there before. Now, some dogs, when you buy a new bed, they want to make sure it's accordingly to their qualification. So they're gonna start chewing on it, pawing on it, scratching on it, digging it, turning it over, pulling it through the house. All, all these things can happen for the dog to kind of get accustomed with that. So instead of start making it a thing, like no, leave it, drop it, and make it a whole problem around it, how about you introduce your dog that bed by offering him something he really likes? Hey, you see that? You haven't had that for a time. How about I introduce you to your new bed? Let me show you what that bed can do. How about you lure your dog on the bed, let him lay down, coming down, ready? Three, two, one, congratulations! And here is your awesome chewing toy that you can have on that bed. He will be so busy chewing on his favorite thing, right? And don't give him a Kong, empty Kong, like a rubber thing, right? Just make it something to be exceptionally specific, awesome, considering he can only have it on that bed. Now, some dogs have preferences: hardness, softness, texture, size, location. So, why not accommodating to your dog? He doesn't like it there, move it over here. Just because you change the idea of restructuring your furniture doesn't mean your dog has to lose his spot, because beds and this kind of location usually are safe places, right? So a safe place is something where you feel comfortable and safe, considering the environmental factors. Plus, it should be a place of comfort. And just because you thought that, oh my God, I give him this super awesome soft bed, he can go in like sleeping in clouds, and your dog's struggling laying in that bed because, you know, dogs have difficulties on these non-stable surfaces, and especially if they're elder dogs, and especially if they have joint issue, they will struggle laying down on that bed because they're losing balance because that bed is not solid. You don't know what I mean? How about you step on your bed and trying to walk over it? See how it feels to you. Unless you have to hold yourself somewhere, the dog struggles with the same thing. Okay? So for the dog to make a turn on his bed, he has to lift one leg in order to make the next step, which have him left on three legs, which means he's going to likely tip over. So that turn will be kind of a struggle in a dog who has joint issue, inflammations, pain. He's going to hate that bed. He wants his old bed, the one that's already flatter. So sometimes you have to accommodate, yes, soft, but doesn't have to be too soft. It's like a 4-inch mattress, like foam, like a solid foam, not the eggshell foam, right? Or the egg carton foam, like the solid foam, is a much better solution to your dog than the super foamy foams. They're basically shredded foam, and you pay too much money for it anyway, right? So yeah, you can go in a store and get one of those foams. You can actually get different hardness of foams. So you can start with the soft on the top and then harder on the bottom. So you have a 3-inch hard foam and a 1-inch soft foam to give that experience for your dog, to take off that pressure through his entire body while his heavy points are being supported as well, and it doesn't reach the bottom. Now, here a tricky thing: you want underneath that foam to have an aerated area, like eventually a little carpet underneath, so the moisture doesn't accumulate under the bed, and then you have exactly, you don't want that bad thing happen under your dog's bed, because the last thing you want is mold. So near the windows, near the wall corners, exterior walls, you have this air draft coming in, and then you have the moisture of the dog sinking through the mattress because it's basically a humidity sponge, and then the cold air comes underneath that, tile area, the floor area, and all of a sudden you have a condensation. Voila, here you go, you have a problem, right? So you keep these minds, but you know these things. Why I'm talking about it? Now Kelly is working also on noises. So here's a few things that I notice. Some dogs get very sensitive to noises, especially when they have inflammation, headaches, ear infections, sometimes side effects of medication, or let's call it in general, don't want to offend anyone, maybe medical side effects, underlying side effects. So if your dog suddenly gets more reactive, more frustrated of noises, easy startled, check the ears. That's your first guess. Check the ears. You don't have to make an appointment, right? So you can do simple things like, as you pet your dog, and you try to touch your dog's head, and your dog is already moving away. Ooh, that could be already an issue. Maybe he has neck pain. I mean, he's like, I don't want to get, shit. Sorry, my word. Sometimes having a neck not being adjusted, kind of thing. I don't say you should adjust your dog's neck by way, no, but sometimes doing some adjustments, and dogs do that by their own. They kind of lay on the back and they do kind of these turns on the grass. They're like, oh man, in the dirt, and I have to wash him again. Sometimes they do adjust themselves. Play is a natural adjustment thing. So if dogs play with each other, they adjust themselves. So that's a good thing. But if you notice your dog is having hard time, or he's barking and shaking his head kind of thing, right? I would definitely make an appointment at the vet. So, but however, if you can create that sound that your dog is struggling with, You want to eventually start slowly, slowly. And I know some um, washing machines, I hope my washing machine doesn't hear that. They make a lot of noise, even though they're just brand new, right? Because somebody, I'm not saying any names, didn't lay out the channel to for the exhaust of the dryer, which is stuck on my washing machine. So if the washing machine was waka 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 thing, then the whole thing on the dryer on the top goes waka doodle waka doodle. And it's kind of like being on a sky racer on a hurricane, and the whole thing goes back and forth. Well, I didn't think that through when I did the underlayment. It's an old house and everything is soft, so there's no really solid foundation until I have to pour concrete on it, like 6-inch slab. But anyway, you want to look for is making things as less noise as possible. And when you want to wash things, make sure you're not putting like 5 towels in there and then have the wash machine figure it out how to balance it out. Wash more things so they can easily distribute in there. And yes, you can start with something your dog likes. For example, even a dishwasher can make it sounds. Every time the washing machine brushes through the injections and clears the glasses and have this jingle noise going on, how about we introduce the dog that the washing machine as a subject is kind of a cool thing? Like we're opening the door, we give a dog a treat. We close the door, we give a dog a treat. Okay, we push that button, doodle-ding, doodle-dong, we give that the dog a treat. So suddenly he associates, hey, these are announcement of good things to happen. So we can't condition the dog. Don't let me spend time here long. You can definitely go in our program, in our Facebook page, and go through the conditioning parts, or you can actually Google it. Just make sure you read before you do it. What else do we have? You're thinking to get a new dog rescue. Ooh, that's good. So I suggest in that case, what you want to do is looking for a reputable rescue. And yes, looking for a reputable rescue and making sure that dog was previously in foster care. So don't go online and find a dog and do kind of like, oh, okay, on hearsay whatever the people say, and make sure when you have that dog that that dog is being evaluated. So if you don't know anything about the dog and you don't know about his temperaments and about his behavior, then how would you introduce your dog to your new dog, like your resident dog? And we have this idea, I'm not saying delusion, but the idea that, oh, my dog is doing fine with other dogs. He was fine with my dog. Hmm. Think about that this way. Let's say, for example, you're fine with Frank, and Frank, saying a name, is being a jerk lately, and you kind of quit that friendship. And then your partner comes in, hey, I have a new friend for you. And you're like, you have a new friend for me? Like, yeah, I found this guy down the street. He's super awesome. He's super intelligent. You're gonna cook dinner, and I'll bring him home. You guys gonna be besties. And you're like, I don't know about that. See, all of a sudden you're questioning. You have an idea how your friend should look like, and then the other guy comes in, and like all of a sudden he's going to your refrigerator, and all of a sudden he's going through your drawers, and you're like, dude, are you okay? Get out of my house. So the dog who comes to your house has certain expectations, so does your dog who is already resident. And sometimes dogs being well with other dogs in a home doesn't mean they're social. It only clearly means they were fine in the other house. So I call these dogs monosocialized. They're only being socialized with one or two dogs in their family, and that's it. Maybe they have a friend, but they don't speak social language. And then you bring that dog in your home and you have a disaster coming up and you don't even see it coming because you did everything right. Well, you introduced the dog outside, he was fine, right? Your dog is fine with dogs outside, but this dog suddenly is inside and the whole system collapses, causing severe aggression and fights around you, your food, the areas, because where would you put the bed? Well, you want those people, these two dogs, to be friends, right? Where would you put the bed? Next to each other. And what about the couch? What about your dog feeling safe at the couch? And how about the other dog feel safe at the couch too? Um, that will not work. So you have to kind of think about these things before you bring your dog in the house. So for you guys who really are not sure what the situation will look like, I have a consultation session so we can go through all the behaviors. So we will have a questionnaire from the other side, and then we have the questionnaire from our side, and we're going to see how much do we have of a much. And I'm not saying you make a choice of one dog and you want to adopt that dog, and then I have to deal with it. I would say, give me two options. Option number one, option number two. We're going to find out which one is the better match. And you sometimes you have to listen to your guts, and sometimes you have to listen also to your dog guts, because maybe he didn't overcome his previously insecure relationship that he had with the other dog, so like a codependent relationship. And then you bring this new dog in, and this dog doesn't have a feedback to refer to make a judgment about that dog, and your best friend suddenly becomes his enemy. Does it make sense? So yeah, these are things that we need to go. So if that's the case, just message me, and we can take it from there. Um, so few of those things um, are definitely being easily to address. Like I have a 12-year-old dog. I have a 14-year-old and an 11-year-old dog. So these are seniors, and usually helping them with diets, reducing carbs, improving the nutritional intake, upgrade the quality of food makes a huge impact on a dog. So I have this homeopathic um, veterinary homeopathic practitioner slash nutritionist. She's amazing, putting together a treatment plan to help you with those things. Okay, message me if you need to know more about that. And then my wife does reconnective healing on animals and is known to reduce pain and inflammation just like that. Is it a magic wand to fix everything? No, because if you continue feeding junk food, which you likely don't know about, but they let you believe you're feeding healthy, but actually it's not, then you will not have much of improvement. You have a temporary improvement, but then it goes back where it was. So that these all things have to be addressed. So nutrition and nutritional intake, nutritional quality, and exercise and interactions do make a lot of improvement. Okay, so these are things we should pay attention. Okay, we are thinking of rescuing another pup. Oh, here you go. Our female peer mix appears to be leash aggressive. Not the right word, but she reacts at almost all dogs going by us. We are worried about introducing a new dog. Well, you know what? Before you make a decision to bring a dog in your house, you should already start working on that. So you definitely need to talk to somebody, and we can do working on leash activity. Now, leash activity is not an impossible situation. Definitely, you don't need to reach out to prong collars, shock collars, and any aversive tools, because leash activity is a fear response. So if we don't address the fear, whatever you use, the fear will still be there. You will just suppressing it. And the last thing you want, you're having a ticking time bomb on your leash, right? Patty, we have a new foster dog in our program with pretty severe separation anxiety. It's a yeah, and it's a street rescue dog and hiking leg on everything, so needs crate time but awful in the crate due to anxiety. Any suggestions can we provide to the foster? Oh, okay. So, um, we have to be, especially with street dogs, we have to see dogs as what species they are. So, dogs are social, and dogs are very active. They have this uh, extreme differences: reaction, sleeping, reaction, sleeping. So they have this 16-minute circle of resting, checking, and continue resting unless something is going to happen and they're up and running like 110%. So dogs who are used to be active, you will have hard time crate training. Now, I'm against crates, but I don't have a problem with kennels. Where's the difference? The size is the difference, right? So let's call it this way. If you have a kennel for, let's say, a large dog, then you may need to consider a kennel in the size of 100 square feet. And you're like, right? Listen, what is a small room in your taste? How long can you be in that small room? Let's say, for example, I don't know if you guys went ever to an aeroplane or let's say to a train. Have you been to the bathroom? Okay. In analogy, that's the size of your dog's crate. Can you lay on the floor? Yeah, if you kind of squeeze yourself a little bit, not in the aeroplane, but on the train, you can definitely lay on the floor, taking a nap, not on that dirt. But you get what I mean. A compartment should be big enough for your dog to be able to move. Okay? Now, we have to look at it long term. Now, crates, let me give you a feedback here. Crates being invented in 1968. It was my birthday. In 1968, as a contract for the aviation to build crates for transport of dogs. So the invention of the crate intend transport for dogs from point A to point B, and that's the time limitation. All it served for is transporting dogs in the aeroplane. It had to fit in the cargo, and dogs have to be safely contained so you can fit as many dogs as possible. Take that picture. Before 1968, there were no crates. And then suddenly we come up with this plan. Oh, dogs are den animals. What is that? Who told you that? Somebody who wants to sell us crates. Great. I saw a drug dealer on the streets telling me that drugs makes you feel good. I went and buy the 5 kilograms of it. No, I wouldn't. Right? Because I know what he's up to. So crates are only transportation devices and only intent to contain the dog safely for transport. That's it. Now, there are other people and trainers says there that they think that crates are training management tools. No, they're not. It's a confinement. It's a very small area, and people go to the extreme. They say they're gonna put the dog in a little crate so he doesn't have room to poop and pee. Wow, let it sink in a little bit. So, I don't want you to pee in your house, right? Anywhere in your house. You don't have a bathroom. It's a house without a bathroom. But because I was going out for 4 hours, I'm gonna tie you on create a crate around your bed, and you know what's gonna happen if you pee in your bed, right? You're gonna pee on your bed, and you want your bed to be clean. And on your bed, I'm gonna put a food bowl on it, so you make sure that's your food area and your bed area. So you're gonna hold your pee on it, and then I'm coming back. And you don't know what time I'm coming back because you don't have sense of time. All you need to go to the bathroom. I don't know if ever for you have laid in bed in a hospital and you need to go to the bathroom and you think twice, pain or pooping yourself, and you says, ah, damn it, I'm gonna be in pain right now. I'm gonna go to the bathroom. What's the problem? Why don't you poop on your bed? No big deal. You just call the nurse. She's gonna bring you the thing underneath, and you're gonna relieve yourself. No, you don't, because you can't. The brain doesn't work like that. The body doesn't work like that. So we use that fear and that body fear response to teach you to not poop in the house. It's kind of like wrong in any way, right? So what most people do, which I appreciate, is they create the den, and we're going to talk about it in a bit, the den for the dog to lay in a bed, and then have this elimination area attached to the crate, like a little doggy park. a little one. Okay. Now, imagine for the smallest dog, a recommendation of that potty area would be 3 meters by 3 meters. I'm 2 meters tall in square footage. So 3 by 3 is 9 square meters. 9 square meters, and I have to do my calculator because I'm kind of like a metric guy. So, so you know what? My phone is being jerked right now. So, come on, stop it. 9 square meters in square feet. That would be 100 square feet. A proper size playpen for your dog would be 100 square feet. You don't believe me? There are laws out there. There are several countries in Europe that is the minimum recommended a big size area for one dog. So if you add a second dog into the equation, you're going to add another 100 square feet on top of it. So you have two dogs in that play area. You have 200 square feet. Okay, interesting. So what we are being brainwashed to believe for those guys to make money off the metal crates, it's not what the reality is. The reality, dogs need to be free, be able to move. And if your dog doesn't move, he gets stagnancy, and stagnancy creates illness. And don't get me down that road. Okay. And I know you're like, are you kidding me? My house is like 1,000 square feet. I barely fit my bedroom. Okay. I didn't say you have to remove your bedroom, but maybe thinking about, instead of having the crate in there, putting a baby gate. I have one. I have a dog. He literally is here in a 120 square foot room. I could, it's my office. So he can do whatever he wants in there. Everything is safe, right? Everything is desensitized. He will not chew on any books on anything. Here's his bed, you know, because, and here's the exception, he is scared of noises, and he goes and hides on things because he's a trauma dog. He's a Hurricane Sandy survivor. I have a crate here that is covered, like an insulated space where he can go in if he's feeling overwhelmed. But he has trauma of sounds, so that would be his comfort space. Instead of going under the table, he's going in a safe place which is organized. He can go in and out whenever he wants, but usually he hangs out outside, and he goes in the yard. So daytime, I don't have a free doggy door because I have wild animals running around. I have 3, 4 outings a day. He's going out, hangs out, and comes back in. Right? If it rains, he doesn't go out at all. He just hangs out in the house, and then we're kind of forcing him to go to the bathroom and taking him for a walk extra, in addition to the regular ones. But that's things that we need to consider. Now, dogs who are free and come and have separation anxiety, we need to be very careful because that separation anxiety is fear of abandonment. That needs to be addressed first. So the dog needs to change the mindset of what's going to happen if people leave. The reason why maybe he got stray was because he got lost. Maybe somebody dumped him. Or maybe he got scared and spooked and run off, but he's still missing his family. So him missing his family, and you are a kind of a family representative, all of a sudden that becomes a PTSD response. So people leaving, the dog goes into this negative thinking pattern. They're going to leave, we're going to lose them again, I'm going to be back on the streets. That PTSD. So that in particular is something we should look into and educate those people of different ways to address separation anxiety. And it's not just you push a button, it's a protocol that is specific designed to those people daily routines and the dog's needs. Okay, so it's not just you open a book and read out of it. You have to literally design it around the dog's needs. And then we have to see, if we do this, what is the response? If we do that, what is the response? And we see what's the better version of it. And crate training is not a solution for a dog with separation anxiety. All you create is you create helplessness. The dog shuts down, and then eventually it can even cause aggression, and the dog starts being in denying going into the crate, and he eventually redirect that frustration towards the person. So I think we should look into that a little bit. So suggestion to the foster: we need to look into it from a patient's perspective and make sure the dog gets his needs met, changing his thoughts, what he thinks is going to happen if those people leave, and we need to design a protocol for that. Because if we need that dog to be adopted, he's going to carry on that trauma into the next home. So if we don't address that in the foster home, to the purpose of the adopter to go being able to go through the same process. So basically what we do is we're teaching the dog how we'll handle the future separation anxiety will kick in again, right? And then we have to have everything set up. So if the adopter comes in, these are the routines and rituals that you have to go through to help your dog integrate in your home safely without going separation anxiety. Are you willing to do that? Yes, no, sign here. See what I'm talking about here, right? Okay. My oldest Pyrenees doesn't like the box on the counter. She's, yeah, well, some Pyrenees have this weird thing. They need to control their environment. So yeah, you see what I'm talking about here, right? So who do we have? Hi, Richard. When we wash dog beds covers, they smell changes, or dog seems to avoid them on beds. Yeah, well, here's what I suggest. And I'm speaking from experience as a packaging engineer. I'm a retired industrial packaging and system integration engineer. So detergent have a lot of chemicals in them and have um, those enzymes included to eat and destroy um, bacteria and dirt. So, what do you consider clean is not really clean sometimes, it just doesn't smell it. Okay. And there are different brands and different stories, but however, most of them are not healthy. And you guys who have allergies know exactly what I'm talking about, where you have to go specific buying a detergent that is dye free, color free, gluten free, and all these free things. Basically, I wonder what is in there. It's supposed to be only water. Yet there are some organic detergents that are actually good, okay, and do the job. Now you need to reach one of those um, and read through the ingredients and Google a little bit, give a little bit of feedback. So then what you want to do is you I wash my things with um, allergy free detergents and gluten free detergents. Basically, there's really organic to the core. I don't remember the name right now. So reach something to that. So the health stores you can go and find those. Um, they cost a little bit more, but you don't have troubles. Now, one thing else you can do is um, don't use those sprayers on it. They hate it. Plus, some dogs are so scent oriented, he doesn't recognize his bed anymore because dogs see in a three-dimensional scent. Okay? Imagine you don't see anything and you smell the feet, the knee, the underwear, the shirt, the how you call them, the armpits, the neck, the nose, the mouth. So the dog will see that in a um, olfactory three-dimensional picture. So your bed that you just washed doesn't actually exist in his room, and the dog is like, "What's that? What is on my spot?" Right? So cleanliness sometimes is a slippery slope. You want to make sure you don't over cleaning it and you don't add any chemicals that are bad for your dogs. Well, I'm glad you catch me here. We are usually every Saturday. Sometimes I have some emergencies coming up and then I skip it, or sometimes I have appointments before that and it just take forever. Sometimes my internet sucks. So yeah, how do you like it today so far? Any other questions? Oh, by the way, I totally forgot drinking coffee. I love your questions. Finally, you guys challenging me with your questions because otherwise I have to come up with plans. What should we talk about? Julie, I am a crate training dropout, unfortunately. Oh man, my English really sucks. I don't know exactly what that means. I do have one dog with anxiety, fears, trauma related. That boy hated noise, small crates. But I need a safe place when I'm gone. Um, when I was gone, I bought. Yeah, perfect. That's good. Okay, that fit a safe bed perfectly. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. His mental health gradually improved with a larger kennel. He has zero issues going in and out. Yeah, because dogs like to feel safe if the environment is safe. But if the environment becomes an issue, then becomes a problem. And so that's why it's important to to become aware of what is a proper size crate. And trust me, I've seen dogs being in a crate that are so small, which are considered appropriate for the breed, where the dog sits and has to duck his neck because his ears are touching the top. And if he lays down on the floor, his legs have to be, retrained, and he will not be able to stretch. I have issues with my knees. If I sit in a car too long, I get a panic attack. Literally, I get claustrophobia, and I had to get off the car. So if I cannot stretch my legs, I'm getting in a panic attack. I don't know. That's what I do. So I have to have room on my legs. Sitting on a back seat of a small car is for me impossible. If somebody else sits there, I have to sit diagonal so I can stretch my legs. And some people don't even put water in the crate because somebody told him if he drinks water, he has to pee. Bam! Right? So, and then even though they have small crate and even they put a bowl in there, that bowl takes space of that crate where your dog doesn't fit anymore. Right? So I have crates that I can hang. Let me show you one. So I have those crate buckets that have a hook on it, which means I can hang it higher so there's a food leg room, and the dog can still go underneath. So if I put a bucket in there, I want to make sure there is space underneath and enough space for your dog to get his water bowl in, because the bucket needs to be so big that the dog puts his head in it and he doesn't have to put his ears in there too to get to the bottom of it. So basically, your effective area would be this of that bowl. So that's a 4 quart bowl, and you have a big dog, it would be too small. You need a 6 quart bucket. See what I'm talking about here? So all these things people just don't think of. It's just like, oh, my dog needs water. Let's put a ball in there, right? Um, yeah, sure. It's always posted in the group and on YouTube. Um, right? That's good. So I recognize some of my dogs. I remember it was a couple of years back. My wife took a shower, and usually my dog sees my wife with clothes. Okay, don't take me wrong. My wife is just fine, right? But he never seen my wife in a bathrobe, and the bathrobe was fluffy. Had his hoodie on, and my dog freaked out. He thought he's a strange person in the house, and he's like totally got scared. But and then we desensitized that, and he was just fine. Um, oh, you guys are typing quick. I have to catch up with you guys. I just found your Facebook page. We have a three. Oh, hi Rebecca. We have three 20-month-old Pyrenees. We are slowing introducing them to our chicken and kitten before we get our livestock. Is this okay to do this way? Yes. So the optimal period for a guardian breed to be introduced to livestock would be before week 14 and 16. And here's why. Because week 14 and 16, there's this magic things happening where the environmental factors are affecting the breed traits. So see a breed trait as a sliding scale. Okay. Um, let's let's call it for example, um, mm, my brain fog. Let's say for your dog is easily adjusted to new environment. Easy, not easy, right? There's this sliding scale. And so if your dog is troubling introducing new things, that means you have to work more on that. But if many things are changing in his environment, that sliding scale is being pushed into a stress situation. So you need to work on that and help your dog in that particular phase to be more aware of those little changes and reward based changes, and like, hey, this new thing is going to happen, good things going to happen, right? um, and I think people have those expectations. I'm not talking about in particular, but in general, I see this all the time struggling. They get a guardian breed to guard the livestock as if you would hire somebody from a work office, like how you call this, employer's office, where you call in, hey, I need a professional, and like, I will send you one. That's not what's going to happen. Sir Pyrenees has breed traits, but he's not a professional. He doesn't have a clue. Guarding, it's not guarding livestock. It's the idea of protecting yourself and your family at any cost. And I would do everything for it. Hmm. So a guardian breed is not a guardian breed. It's a dog who has specific traits that are more than other dogs. Staying in place, in one place, being sensitive to changes, right? Being aware what is considered family. What is considered family? Like, I have an uncle who I never met before. Well, his family, well, he shows up in my door at night, knocking at my door. I'm going to call the police. I don't care who he says he is. I don't know him. He's not my family, right? Just because you consider it family and your animals and your livestock doesn't mean the dog has to see it that way. Now, I know people who says, well, that dog failed in the house, therefore he is a farm dog. No, just because you failed as a police officer doesn't make you a detective. Just because you failed as a detective doesn't make you um, an investigator. So it doesn't have a concept on this like that. So dogs need to learn the job. They need to observe others to do the job. And if they don't have others to observe your dog, you have to be that other, teaching him what to do. So it's a whole process of your 320-month-old Pyrenees to learn that livestock is not something you chase, it's something you are with. Okay? You can eat with, you can interact with, but you cannot play with. You cannot chase it, you cannot nibble it, you cannot jump on it, you cannot hump it, you cannot do certain things, and you are there to manage it. And you cannot manage it by correcting it, is by not making it happen in the first place, right? So the first thing, also what people forget is that poultry is a trigger to animals. It's a prey, and all the dogs chase poultries. Only dogs who are educated not to chase it are the dogs that we're looking for. But we need to educate your dog. What do we do with a chicken? Okay, a chicken can be very mean, come up to you and chase you. What should the dog do with it? Okay, what if a chicken flies around you? What do you do with that? What do you do with the stupid hen that kind of runs around like crazy, tries to protect the things, and then you have this rooster who's like in the morning, like, shut up. What does a dog has to do with that? So we have to educate them. Okay. Now the other thing is, I would literally think about the concept, teaching those and implementing, showing them what family is. Be part of it. Let them join you. Let them see you do things with them, feeding them, be calm with them. Everything that you do, the dog will observe and imitate. Dog are good imitators. Like, do what I do. Have you seen those people, planting the plants, and then the same day the dog goes and digs it out again? What would you think that is? Because he's a jerk? No, it's because he did exactly what you did. Like, mom was digging, I'm digging. I guess that's what we do. Mom is yelling at the kids, or dad is yelling at the kids, dog is barking at the kids. Why do you think that happened? Because the dog is smart? No, he's just following what the parents do. So obviously he's taking on a job. So literally you have to go through this process. And I know many will recommend, oh, join these livestock Facebook groups. Man, I've seen bad things suggested there. Like, if your dog is chasing the chickens, tie a dead chicken on your dog's neck. Like, what the actual bark? Like, God would see that. Sorry. He's going nuts. Like, this is why I invented chickens and dogs, so they can tie each other necks. Like, how sick is that? All you're gonna do is that dog will likely is so frustrated about it that he's gonna hate you for it, and the chickens. So there are other alternative methods to that. But again, there's no one size fits all. And of course, we avoid aversive training because that is scientifically proven not going to help you at all. It's being a short term solution, maybe only works when you're there, but not in general. So that's what I'm talking about here. Um, my crates are open and they each other blank is small. One is going in and out of the other decide he likes a raised bed. Yeah, we always have to accommodate. But I hate when people says, hey, you know what? We're just gonna have just crate the dog. The dog has separation anxiety, put him in a crate. The dog is chasing the kids, put him in a crate. The dog is peeing, put him in a crate. It's kind of like take a pill. Like that. Um, no, I'm not teaching a crate training. Um, I'm trying to educate the difference between a crate and a kennel. A kennel is a bigger size area for the dog to feel safe. For the smallest dog available, that kennel size would be 100 square feet. Okay, and a, a crate is a transportation system, and so people make that confusion that, oh, I want to keep my dog safe, I put him in a crate, but crate is too small, right? And well, we don't have a room. Well, we have to dedicate a room for that. We have a child. We need a dedicated room for the child. He cannot sleep in the living room. Makes sense. So we have to accommodate accordingly, Rebecca, just in case you missed it. So we're not talking about only crates. We're talking about lots of things. So if you put it in replay, you're going to watch the whole thing again. Um, Richard, I'm still having problems with my Pyrenees reacting aggressive towards cars. He has no problem with pickup trucks, large trucks. He doesn't even need to see the car coming, showing its face. I like that. I like your idea. I like where you're coming from because indeed dogs see upcoming things that could look like a predator. He'll react even after the car passes by. So some dogs are very sensitive to sounds and noises, um, and it maybe have to do with the alternator. It maybe has to do with additional noises that come with particular car that we don't hear, but dogs are very sensitive on listening to those things. Sometimes it's a learned behavior. So I don't remember what age your dogs are, but sometimes it can be related to patterns, the speed that you know um, the car come by. Could be a past experience with cars that we're dealing with. However, that can be addressed with conditioning. We want to make sure that we're helping the dog recognizing that chasing a car is not the way to enrich. So sometimes those behaviors happen because there is lack of enrichment. So improving the enrichment would be very helpful for the dog to take an alternative route and not chasing the cars. Okay. Usually, what I see, and I'm working with the dog right now, he gets stuck and hyper focused on the car, and the car comes by, and he's like getting like this, and the car passes by, and he's chasing the car. So these things that need to be addressed. Okay, guys, my coffee's over, and I need to go to my next training session. Um, I have no livestock. I think I'm yeah. Yeah. Well, dogs don't see livestock as we see. They just see them as family. They just belong together. It's like we're a good community. We love each other. We care for each other. I just protect them because I feel like doing that. We bring them in with us as we are working on the pasture, and the kittens and the chiefs are are okay. I gotcha. Yeah, that's a good thing to do. Yes, I agree. Homeopathy is great. Great. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. I mean, people just get sometimes overwhelmed. Yeah, they make all these bad noises and they just show up and taking your stuff away. You remember the chicken you threw in there? This guy took it away. The dog wants it back. So it was nice chatting with you guys. See you next Saturday. And don't forget, for you guys who are with the Pyrenees group, 6 o'clock today, Pacific time would be um, the Pyrenees live video talk, right? Don't forget about that. So see you soon again, and thank you for your post. Unfortunately, posts that come after we closing our live video, I will not be able to respond. But you're welcome to reach out to me and message me. And if you need help, you can go also to my website, holisticdogtraining.org, and we can um, schedule an appointment and take care of you guys. And otherwise, thanks for sharing the video and thanks for commenting. See you next week.